Board game, board games. I might be talking about board games, board games, but I'm not gonna shout. I am starting off this streaming with a little bit of singing, and today I'll look at Categorical. It's a Kickstarter. It's not gone so well. In fact, I think I'll have to throw the towel in, and now I have to work out what I'm doing. Categorical Kickstarter, it's what I'm talking about. Categorical Kickstarter, I'm not gonna shout. Hello, good afternoon, good evening, good morning, good whatever it is, wherever you are. It is 10 a.m. UK time, and that means it's time for Busy Beats and Board Game Blether. Now, normally, this is me kind of, a celebration, a kind of, hey, let's talk about something that doesn't matter, like peanut butters, and compare them to board games, or hey, let's have a chat with someone. And that's a really lovely thing, but today I want to talk about something that's really challenging to me, and that is the fact that the categorical Kickstarter which I did, it's a failure, and I want to read through what I wrote, kind of examine before I make this update. I want to kind of examine why this happened, why I failed, why I'm in a position where I'm basically throwing the towel in. It's not to, and when I say the Kickstarter failed, I don't mean it failed to fund. That would have been so much better. I mean that I promised something, and not only have I not managed to deliver it, but also at this point I did there's no way that I am going to deliver it, and so I feel like the only way forward is for me to refund everyone. And Jess says, and firstly, hello Timmy, it is lovely to see you, thank you for joining in. Jess says, hello, there is no such word as failure, you had an adventure and you learned things. Yeah, sure, but it is an expensive adventure, and when doing the refund, yeah, I'm giving back the money that I got, but minus the Kickstarter fees, that's still me losing £300 of personal money and a lot of stress. I mean, sometimes I appreciate you trying to put a positive spin on it, but I don't think it really applies. I think that if this is not a failure, what is? I mean, your love is not in dispute anyway. But before we get there, before we talk about all this stuff, let me talk about recent highlights, living life and seeing the sights, recent highlights, playing games and other delights. So what have been some of your recent highlights? Yesterday, I enjoyed a few things, like Seinfeld, a comedy show, an old comedy show. It made me laugh. I mean, a couple of times. It made me smile. Tomato juice, very tasty and relatively healthy. The chunky peanut butter, I've decided, it's for me at least, unless it's whole earth, I'm going to go for chunky all the way. And that Marmite, oh my gosh, that was so good. The waterfowl, walking through the park, seeing the birds, seeing the sunshine, you know, being able to walk along the grass to the edge of the water, that was lovely. And what are my achievements? I wrote a Kickstarter update. I've not posted it yet. I wanted to have this conversation first. I went out to the park. I made an appointment. I sent a challenging email to publishers, and I drew a couple of whimsical creatures. Here's one of the whimsical creatures, which is, and these whimsical creatures are based on photos of people. Here's one, and here's the other one. And so, yeah, hopefully they are kind of funny, and you can imagine them making different noises, right? Because of all the mouths and stuff going on. But yeah, that was my recent highlights. What are some of your recent highlights? Just finished, had a super fast power walk. You finished the first week of the new job. Congratulations, I hope it's going well. Just did half a job application and tutored one of the babies online. He's got 6 assignments to finish by Wednesday. Wow, that is quite challenging. And I hope that's not super literal. But if you have any questionably quick questions, maybe let's keep this episode a little bit more on focus. But before we go to it, let me talk about brilliant thing. What's a little thing which is brilliant? And let me talk about crowdfunding. I mean, without crowdfunding, before I did a game about wee whimsical creatures and trying to identify them after someone makes noises, this was my best ever Kickstarter in terms of number of people, in terms of, yeah, I got it out eventually and everyone was happy in the end. And in a bind, when I crowdfunded that back in the day, if it weren't for crowdfunding, I would not have been motivated to finish it. I would not have been able to finish it. I would not have been able to, it's a way of checking if there's interest. It's a way of gathering money so that you can afford to do the printing. It's a way of gathering money somewhat also to pay, ideally to reward you for your time or to allow you to print extra copies that you can then go on to sell. Crowdfunding is, it definitely opens up opportunities for things. Just as a quick question, what am I looking forward to the most in the remainder of 2022? There's a lot of uncertainty. I would like to say there's a lot of things that might or might not happen. For now, I'm going to say I'm just focused on like a few days at a time. So right now, I would say Aircon. I'm still feeling positive about that, as opposed to a game about quickly grabbing creatures that are totally different and counting your radishes, which feels like it's not going to go so well. But honestly, I should have said seeing you or seeing Liz or seeing someone else who's coming over. But I think, Aircon, there will be a lot of people that I get to see, and there will be a lot of people, and so that feels good. But right now, I'm just kind of feeling a lot of anxiety and a lot of stress, and I don't know how things are going to happen. And it reminds us that even with crowdfunding, the fact that I did a preview page and 36 people signed up, which is good, but it's not great. It kind of tells me, okay, maybe that's going to be a challenging Kickstarter to run. Whereas when I did a game about wee whimsical creatures and trying to identify them after someone makes noises, and more than 200 people had signed up before the Kickstarter went. And so, even before doing the actual starting it, it feels like you get a sense of how it's going to go, which is good. And Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping to be delighted, but I'm ready to be disappointed. Well, disappointment doesn't happen if you kind of expect it. Anyway, as we go on to the main topic, which is going to be all about the Categorickell Kickstarter, and I would really appreciate, people asking questions, commenting from the commenting and asking questions are really the important thing for me. Okay, a bit of background. So I launched a Kickstarter for Categorickell, a new version of the L deck. I thought this should be fairly simple. I'd been to Cannes. I was drawing letter shapes. I was thinking, okay, let's make it bigger and better and better. And it was, when did it fund? It was March the 3rd to April the 2nd, 2020. And that was before I really realized that COVID was a thing. I think it was in the middle of the campaign that I went to Aircon, and then Festival got cancelled. And I realized, wow, this is a real thing. There's a pandemic that's about to happen, and life is going to change. And I didn't expect, I didn't think through the ramifications. So here's the Kickstarter. It tells you about the game. There's a review of it. Paul Grogan and Board Games in Bed also really loved it. And I thought, hey, there's going to be a whole bunch of people who like this. As it happened, there were 171 backers who pledged £2,752. And yeah, let me actually pop it like that. So it was fine. It was, but COVID happened. At that point, I just lost my mojo, to use a weird phrase. I didn't have the energy to continue. This game, like Kitty Cataclysm, like In a Bind, like the original L deck when I launched it, I had none of the artwork done ahead of time. And that's good from a, hey, let's people get involved. Let's everyone give suggestions. Hey everyone, come and let me know which one of you prefers which of these letter shapes you prefer. And I thought we'd kind of guide towards something that we all enjoy and that I'm proud of and that would be best for everyone. But my energy for drawing, for communicating with manufacturers, because once you do the Kickstarter, that's not it. That's not a successful Kickstarter yet. A successful Kickstarter is kind of when, best measured probably by the happiness of the people who back it. So if you've got 50 people backing it and then everyone gets their game and everyone's like, wow, I got my thing and I'm really excited, I would far rather have that, assuming that I didn't lose any money on it, than have a game where there's 2,000 people and I earn, let's say, £3,000 and everyone goes away thinking, oh, I didn't like that game at all. I mean, obviously the latter is, I mean, sure, even once you've fulfilled, the ideal is that the game is good, that the game brings enjoyment, that the game is something that people want. And I think that's really important to me. And looking back at In a Bind, if I take off the screen for a moment and then just go to In a Bind, the reason why I think it was really important for me back then to have board game. it was really important for me back then to launch the Kickstarter when I did. Without launching that Kickstarter, I don't think it would have ever been made. And you can tell by this Kickstarter where, I've got pictures, that picture changed, but like originally there's just
hello, my name for the whole duration until
I'm going to mute that. So you can see it's played with a prototype, people are having fun, it looks nothing like what it will eventually look like. None of these graphics are anything to do with final, but yeah, it's yeah, I thought this was going to go really well, and 173 backers, 2,914. And the key thing is when everyone got their games, they all enjoyed them. They all appreciated them. Because the point of the Kickstarter isn't just to fund, it's not just to deliver the thing, but it's also to deliver the thing and have people happy that they backed fundamentally. And so, yeah. Thank you very much. Jess, I appreciate you realigning your thing, and I do really appreciate that, because at this point, yeah, like just to finish the recap, a year passed and I just couldn't do anything because of COVID. I couldn't do any public playtesting. I didn't have any energy to do anything. And then when I finally had the energy to actually do drawing again, the only way I could do drawing was to constantly remind myself, this is for a busy bargain bag. I'm only going to print like 50 copies, and it doesn't matter if people don't like it. I'm doing 50 copies and that's it. But with needing to print 1,000 games when it's in a box like this, when it's in a proper 2-piece box, that's a lot of emotional stress. That's a lot of, oh, this needs to be perfect. Well, if not perfect, at least really, really good. And I know that perfection is unattainable, but I want things to be at least something that I can be proud of. Whereas, there's all sorts of things that, hey, within the context of a £5 game, I'm really happy with these cards. Would I be happy with them if it was a £15 game? I don't know. And maybe it's partially imposter syndrome. Maybe it's partially about me being super concerned about, but yeah, the truth is I just didn't have the energy to do any of the artwork, and that is it. Time passed, Brexit happened, bloomin' Brexit, and the pandemic, bloomin' pandemic, and it's been really hard. Sorry, give me a moment. For a while, I tried to do regular online meetups. I had people playing games on the Tuesday, on the Thursday, on the Sunday. We made it like 3 times a week thing. Chris was coming over because he said, yeah, it's still work, and then it was really nice to hang out with Chris. I tried to do things with Chris and McCall, so we were kind of bubbling together. And on Fridays, we tried to still keep the daytime playtests running for a while until we realized, hey, this just does not have the same energy. Playing games over the camera, sure, it's fine as a substitute, but it's not really the same thing. And I stopped designing for a while. I stopped doing anything for like the better part of a year, let's say. I did get Seize the Power signed up. I did have obligations to work on it, but basically 2 years passed and I did nothing. And I apologized to Peter Blenkarn, to Rose Atkinson of Inside the Box, who, they paid me an advance which was shared between me and Tiz, my co-designer. So it wasn't actually a large amount, but yeah, we are now picking it up because we can pick things up, and they are there to make sure that it happens. And so, honestly, without inside the box being at the helms and saying, we want to get this done, hey, do you want, let's work out a way to get into the office. We'll get into the office even though there's a public transportation strike. That wouldn't happen because it's not just about finishing off the design and finishing off the art. It's also then about the logistics. And that gets into the second problem. The second big problem is the shipping, the manufacturing. When I delivered Kitty Cataclysm, I actually lost money on some of the decks that I sent to the USA. That really annoyed me. That was not good. This was pre-Brexit. This was basically entirely due to the pandemic, because previously something that would have cost £7 to ship to the USA was now costing 20 something pounds. And it was only like 2 free parcels, and I got it to those people hoping that they at least play the games and enjoy it. But the truth is, I would rather have, in retrospect, if those people hadn't backed the game at all, I would have been financially better off. But I felt beholden to that. And what else could I do in that situation? Like, contact them and say, hey, I can either give you a refund or you can pay extra to ship it. Also, I think part of it was just trying to get rid of the stress, because I would rather lose, £45 than go through the stress of disappointing backers saying, hey, I can't give you the thing. And yeah, and obviously Brexit affects us all. I'm not saying that anyone here voted for it, and it's ridiculous that after 51% vote, after finding all the issues, they still went ahead, and it's happened. And that Brexit, combined with new laws, because previously I could get something printed in Poland, shipped to the UK with no customs charges. Now I have to start worrying about all that. Now the only way in the days of In a Bind, the truth is, if I were a person just making In a Bind today and putting it on Kickstarter, I don't think I would be able to do it, because there's custom charges to pay. There's like so much more complication, and at that point, it's just another barrier. And it sounds really small, but that's on top of everything else. That's on top of the uncertainty of, will the manufacturers do what they're told to do? Will the shipping company do what they're told to do? Will I be able to sort it out and take it to the post office? And then to have to think, will it be held up at customs? Will the customs people give me unfair charges? And there's yet another thing to go wrong, if you know what I mean. And that is really blooming stressful. And so at this point, what does this mean? Well, I've been in touch with people. I've been in touch with Fabrica Cart. I've been in touch with a couple of other companies. Like Ellie Dix gave me the company that makes boxes in the UK, thinking maybe I could just get cards printed and self-assemble and then ship them out. But that box manufacturer wasn't responding to me. And then there's a couple of other companies that I sent emails to yesterday, and it was challenging emails. I'm proud of myself for doing that. That's why it was one of my achievements. And it's really, it feels at this point What am I going to do? I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to make this. And that's the truth. I'd like to believe that one day I will once again make a boxed product. But I don't know for sure. I might be able to do something print on demand. But I don't know for sure. And if nothing changes in the next, let's say, 6 weeks, I feel like my only option is to issue a refund to literally everyone. And thanks, Jess. Yes, there were indeed many obstacles. And at this point, the question becomes basically how to go forwards. And how do I go? Hopefully, hopefully there will be a time. But how do I go forwards? Well, I think I've talked enough about why it went wrong. I've talked about, COVID, Brexit, the art stress. And the art stress is the imperfections, anxiety, and the. So, will I make any more boxed games ever? I don't know. At this point, I feel like, I might ask Rob about a boxed version of a game about wee whimsical creatures and trying to identify them after someone makes noises. But things like this that I can put in a bag and then sell for a $5 at a convention. And even maybe I could imagine myself doing a busy bargain bag of Categorickell for £7, something like that. It wouldn't be 5 because I'm not getting anywhere close to the normal markup on this. It would have to be at least, let's say, £7.50 for me to, maybe it should be £7.50 for me to afford to sell it through shops. And when it's just in a bag, will anyone actually agree to buy it? I don't know. But if I print 100 copies and then I hopefully sell them all at conventions, that's an experiment I can afford to take. Printing 1,000 copies of something like this and having to ship them, that is going to be more financially expensive than it giving everyone a refund. And maybe that suggests that my funding goal was wrong. Maybe that suggests that I should have asked for more money, because why am I saying that it makes more financial sense for me to refund everyone? Surely I would want to sell them the thing. But the thing is, only 171 backers backed, and there's maybe at most a couple of hundred copies spoken for, but I need to print 1,000 copies. And sure, at the time, I was imagining that I would continue to sell. I just wasn't imagining that, sure, Yogi has continued to sell less than usual, but still a reasonable amount. But for me, when I'm not going to conventions and I don't have the networking with shops, it's really crippled my ability to sell games. And so that has changed things. So will I make any boxed games? I would like to. I would like to try it print on demand. I would like to do proper print runs at some point, but I don't know how that will happen. I don't know if it will be mainly by me or whether it will be me partnering with another publisher, because honestly, at this point, things have gone really badly. Yeah. And Jess, who says, I don't know enough about business, maybe a business advisor could predict, but no one can predict these things. And I think that if everything's down to the context, and I don't think that I can, I don't think that it can carry on forever. I mean, but sure, but people can't predict things perfectly. And even if you've got a business degree, that doesn't mean you can somehow magically predict the future. And sure, working with Chris, even though, like, it does feel like at least I have someone else to talk things through with, but it does fundamentally come down to me. It's not like I have an actual business partner. Everyone that I work with is either very much a contractor or an employee. And so, will I make any more box games? Hopefully, at some point. Will I make Categorical? Yes, I would love to make Categorical. I would love to have 54 cards in a deck, exactly like I planned to have in the box, and just say on the front, do not shuffle, these cards will tell you how to play, and then the cards tell you how to play as you go on. I would really like to do that. I would like to publish that as a Bezzy bargain bag. I would like to publish the original typeface as a Bezzy bargain bag and see how well it does. I would like to, yeah, but for this Kickstarter, whether it's print on demand, I just don't think I'm at a place where I can make that thing. What does this mean for the future of the L deck? Sadly, this means that if I am right now unable to handle the shipping and the logistics and the manufacturing of a box like this, if I can't do this again right now, then we won't have more of these, at least for a good long while. For the foreseeable future, whether that's, and I would love for something to change, so never say never, but I think I have to accept that my entire business is around Bezzy bargain bags at this point. And so, yeah, if you want one of the nice looking boxes, you better get it now. If you're happy to pay a little bit less for cards in a bag that are a bit less good, then you'll be in luck. You'll be getting a deal on my next Kickstarter. So, yeah. And yeah, this is incredibly disappointing, but that's the way it is. And hello, Matt Clunky. I feel like I might know who you are, but I don't know. And yeah, we have, sometimes it's like, yes, who can say what the future will hold? And we can't do everything we want to. And I don't have the capability to do everything. I don't have the cash flow to do everything. I don't have the network with shops and the fan base to do a big print run and to be financially secure. And so, yeah, that's it. If you've got any questions, then please ask. Otherwise, that's basically the end of my little chat. Jess says, it's always risky in business and a learning curve, and conditions are unpredictable, as you say. Yeah. I mean, Brexit, COVID, it's a double whammy. And that's not just going to affect the way that things are from a logistical, therefore this cannot happen, but also from an emotional, I can't go and see people, therefore I don't have the energy, therefore I don't. And that's it. Like, I realized that, I mean, sure, if someone wants to be an angel investor, then let's talk terms, but realistically, I don't see it happening. I'm open to all of these things, but it's not enough to be open and wishing and hoping. But and hello, Joseph Kelly. Thank you for joining us. As I said a few minutes ago, if I have decided, and I think I pretty much have, that I am unable to do a big print run of 1,000 copies, then that means that yes, the LDEC is going to go into the Bezier bargain bag. And so, yeah, I really want to swear, but thank you, Joseph Kelly, who says, I'm sorry to hear it's been so difficult trying to get categorical out there. I'm hoping the LDEC can get back into print sometime in the future. And yes, as I say, there will be a Bezier bargain bag. It will be more expensive than the typical Bezier bargain bags. Hello, Alex. Thank you for the hugs. I really appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, again, I don't have anything more to say. So, yep, and Stream Elements is telling me to do a driggle and a wriggle. So, but yeah, I mean, I guess, Michael, before I leave, I've got 2 questions in the typical question of the day. It's time for me to ask questions before we go on our way. So as always, if you have any questions or comments relating to the topic I talked about today, I really appreciate them, especially today. It's been really hard, and I'm going to send out a Kickstarter update in the next couple of hours. And yeah, my question to you, firstly, if I do a Bezier bargain bag for the LDEC, how much should it be? I'm thinking what would be the lowest stress point thing to make it. I'm thinking Wibble. Maybe Alphabet. No, I'm going to go with Wibble. And it will have 54 cards, 48 LDEC cards, plus 6 cards that try to teach you as you're going through in a fast-forward way. I'm thinking $750 as a price point, but let me know what you think about that price point. And then the second question that I have to say is, do you know any other Kickstarters that have issued a refund to literally everyone? And if you can share links or in what you think would be good or bad about doing that. I've seen some people saying they required backers to fill out a little survey before they got the thing, but yep, yeah. Oh, so let's see. Alex says I can't hear anything because I'm at work and it's not quiet. But yeah, you know what? Let me check my calendar. Yeah. I'm going to say, yeah, maybe Tuesday evening. So at Alex. Am I going to do something nice today? Something that will help me process how I've been feeling? I am planning to go for a bit of a walk. I'm definitely going to get out. I'm going to get my nails removed because they're gel, and then I'm going to that's the next bit that I've planned. But over to you, what are you up to? Let me answer that in a moment. Joseph suggests that I could even charge a little more. $7.50 is a really good selling price. However, if people will pay $7.50, they pay £8. That's a good shout. And yeah, I did that with some of them, but it doesn't always quite work. Ripping the gel off. So the question of the day was, firstly, do you know any other Kickstarters that have just said, you know what, I'm going to refund everyone? And also, the question was about how much you would pay for that. So thank you for that. And finally, over to you. What are you up to? You can share what's on me if you want to. So thank you for being here to listen. And now I am interested in what you're up to. Let me know whether it's something fun and frivolous or something super serious. I am personally, since just asked, first I'm going to finish this effervescent vitamin. Next, I will finish this podcast, quickly catch up with social media for about 20 minutes, then spend half an hour doing or whatever I need to post the update to Categorickell, explaining everything that's going on. I will have a wee walk, go outside, come back, then go to my appointment, come back. That will take me to about, I am actually doing something fun tonight. Yeah, I am going to do a bit of work and help out my friend, but also tonight, at about 6 o'clock, I'm going to a comedy show. And so, honestly, maybe I won't laugh. Maybe I'll just sit there feeling depressed, but I'll probably feel a little bit happier than I would have been had I been in the house on my own. Because as nice as Seinfeld is, I would always prefer it if there were someone, if I was watching it with someone, if we were cuddling together or something, or if I was outside watching a show with other people, being alone together, or if I was playing games with other people. So I'm looking forward to going out, and I'll get to see McCall and another person also called Bez who's doing comedy, and so I'm looking forward to that. And also, even though this is work related, I am actually genuinely looking forward to getting to go to the Inside the Box office tomorrow at around 10 o'clock. I'm going to do a super short show. Maybe, no, I don't think it's, I'll kind of talk about Seize the Power for 5 minutes, and then I'll go into the office and I'll work with them for Seize the Power, playtest it a bit, remember how I got what the rules were, because it's been it's been almost exactly 2 years since I played it last, or watched it being played even, and then we'll discuss how to take it forwards, and I'm really looking forward to it, trying to make the things. So that's what I'm generally up to. So I am in bed, says Timmy. Well, I hope that you're, at least I know it's super early there, but hope you're getting to do some good stuff. Just says, I don't know enough Kickstarters to know, but I'm sure many have. Well, I wouldn't be so sure, because I asked on a couple of different platforms and people couldn't come up with any examples. But we've got job application, workout, PMA, not sure what that means. That maybe I'm going to start doing some sit-ups. I'm going to start doing some daily sit-ups. And what kind of comedy? Stand-up comedy. It's open mic stand-up comedy. So yes, what is everyone else up to? I am honestly interested to know. But while you're letting me know, I will recap and wrap up before I finish up. So yes, I started a Kickstarter. I thought I was going to be able to refine the artwork and choose exactly which letter shapes should be done based on people's feedback. I thought that would encourage me, give me the energy to keep going. That's the way it happened for the original letter shapes. I mean, I feel like everyone who originally got these letter shapes was really happy, given that's on the original Kickstarter I just had penned in things. And yeah, what else? Yeah, I thought I would have the energy, but I'm not sure if I will ever do another Kickstarter where I don't have at least 90% of the cards already done. With a game about quickly grabbing creatures that are totally different and counting your radishes, I might actually do a Kickstarter with leave 5 of them blank and say, hey, here's an option to pay extra to dictate what emotions or what props these 5 creatures have. And I'll end up painting them in exactly the same way as the other things, because you need to have the example art to make sure that people see this is the example art. But even with a game about wee whimsical creatures and trying to identify them after someone makes noises, I noticed that right after the Kickstarter, just doing the art, again, it brought up feelings of anxiety. And this, we are human. Like, I'm not a machine. I'm a human that sometimes needs to do things in a certain way and feel free to create and not have the pressure of this needs to be absolutely good enough to do that. And yeah, but I think that if I had 90% of the artwork done, then that's good enough. I'm still going to give myself a good amount of time, because even if I can do that amount of art, in theory, in 2 hours, let's say, it's not just the 2 hours that I have to spend. It's the 2 hours of peak energy in the day that I, when and that's the thing, like when I did all this art, that might have only taken me in theory 2 days, but it was like it did wipe me out for a little bit afterwards. You know what I mean? And I think that going forwards, I need to have more arts done ahead of time. I need to do this in order to preserve my own sanity, because that's really important. And I think that COVID and Brexit has been really problematic. I don't know if I will ever again be able to make a box like this, but maybe with the help of other people, one day I will be able to. Will I make more box games? Maybe. Probably not in the next year. Will I make Categorickell? Yes. Once I refund everyone, I would love to make a busy bargain bag and have the how to play cards littered through exactly like I wanted inside the deck. What does this mean for the future of the L deck? It means that, frankly, they're all going to be in little bags, because that's what I can afford to print. And if people want them, and I hope everyone in the UK will want them, and there's a lot of people in the UK, if you're willing to take a game that is part of a bag, and if you're interested in the different typefaces, then I hope that everyone will still be excited to grab it. And this is a way that I can get out the get prototypes, show them to publishers. And so if I print 100, frankly, whatever number I print, 10 or 20 of them are going to be personal copies for, sharing with a friend potentially, but also sharing to pitch to a publisher saying, hey, this is something that I made. And that feels like a far better way to go forward for the L deck. That's it. So Joseph Kelly backed a Kickstarter once that never delivered or refunded and stopped posting updates. Yeah, that's kind of the regular situation. Obviously, like, I'm a much bigger part of. I don't think I could, if I were to just stay away from board games altogether, like if you were to literally never see me again, I don't think I would be happy with that. Board games are such a big part of my life that I think once someone has made like 3 games, you can sort of tell that they're a bit serious about stuff. Congratulations, JS, on your booty. Matt Lonkley is in the dressing gown working for home, keying in orders. I hope that works well. And thank you for this final comment. Again, that is the end of the show. If you want to check me out, I am Stuff by Bez everywhere. If you want to buy my stuff, stuffbybez.bigcartel.com, twitter.com/stuffbybez, instagram.com/stuffbez, twitch.tv/stuffbybez, youtube.com/stuffbez, and stuffbybez.com/discord if you want to check that out. And I will have a new Kickstarter for a game about quickly grabbing creatures that are totally different and counting your radishes, coming in like 2 weeks. And so please, if you haven't already, go to this link and do click to and as I always say, if you back for £1, then it really helps emotionally, a little bit financially, because I get 90 pence of that £1, even though like there is the 10% that Kickstarter takes 5%, Stripe takes 5%. But yeah, please, the reason why I really want everyone to back it day one for £1 is because algorithmically it means that more and more people are going to find it. So please do check that out. I really appreciate all the support. I know that for people who backed the Kickstarter, if you're watching this after the fact, I know that for anyone who backed Categorickell, this is disappointing, but I can't imagine anyone being more disappointed than me. Sorry. I think that, hopefully this won't be the nail in the coffin for, I won't let the L deck die. I am going to continue running competitions and everything. I'm a bit upset at the thought that not only am I not moving closer towards my ultimate goal of having like all these different things, but it feels like stumbling backwards. But hopefully this will just be a stumbling block, and hopefully we'll get back there. Thank you very much, everyone. Lots of love. Again, if you want to check out my future streams, do that. Share, spread the word. Thank you, everyone, and bye. This is a goodbye song. Bye, 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 bye. Thank you for watching along. Bye, bye. Bye, bye. This is the end of the show. Bye, 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 bye. And now it's time to go to bye, bye. Bye, it is a goodbye song. Bye. Bye, bye. Thank you. Bye, bye, everyone. Thank you, Jess. Yep. Hopefully one day. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.